higher up, like FDR did, and said, this is the way we need to go right now. We need to be all in it together and all of us be part of this community.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because the title is evolutionary. That's the reason I asked you. So this foresees a long period of gradual change for the replacement of our corporate financial economic system.
I keep wondering what's going to come first, the economic debacle or some terrible something with climate change, either the methane release or the Larsen ice sheet dropping off of the Antarctic and making oceans rise. You know, I don't know which of those is coming first.
But our scientists have been telling us in the books we read about scientists in this committee that it's happened. It hasn't been dramatic the way you said. It's been more gradual, the climate change. But the point is, some of the scientists that Malcolm have recommended, James Anson says, we only have a few decades. So you're raising the question of whether or not we have time for evolutionary reconstruction and displacement.
Well,
Does he answer that? Is that
well, I don't know whether answer is the right question, but he addresses it by talking about you know, I mean, and none of us know. There's just no way to know what some of these things are going to be happening coming up. But what he says is that the need to develop new forms and new visions is imperative. That if we go into this uncertainty without visions and without experience and practice in these new forms, that all these unpredictable things are really going to, that there will be no options for us. Whereas what he's saying is, the unpredictable forms coalesce and are anchored in practical experience and a clear sense of systemic direction. And systemic direction, you know, that's like, we all agree on this, there's a plan, and we can move forward and know that we're not fighting each other. It's not that one group thinks we need to take down the bureaucracy, and another group is trying to build these grassroots organizations. There's some sense that there is a systemic, coherent agreement with the country that yes, we're working in a certain direction. This promises to nurture democracy, equality, community, liberty, and ecological sustainability. Because this is really the goal. You know, we are working toward democracy, equality, community, liberty, and ecological sustainability. And if we are, yeah, if we are working in positive directions, then we can feel much more confident that what we're seeing is going to be a positive outcome. Because that's really what we're working for, is the unpredictability of the situation right now is far too dire for us to be able to say, we just got to wait for the government. We can't wait for the government to fix this. We do not trust the corporations to fix this. That he's saying this conversation needs to be happening right now, and people need to be taking action by starting businesses, sustainable businesses in our community. You know, I mean, this is not an endless. This is not something that has not been done before. This is something people do every day. And so how about if we just take a look at one more, and if somebody has one here that they would really like to look at, we can take a look at some of these. I thought maybe we'd look at climate change, since that's our topic. Is that okay?
Climate change? Is there a URL just for this?
Yeah, it is.
Is it hard to get to?
No, www.thenextsystem. The next system.
All together. One word.
.org.
Got it.
And the, wait a minute, let's go back to that. Principles.
Okay?
So, I'm gonna change. Okay, so, challenge presented by global climate change. Business as usual models are predicting temperature rises of 2.1 to 4.6. And that doesn't even include any tipping points that we don't know about, like we're talking about, like, you know, methane releases and permafrost. It is encouraging that there's been work to decouple growth from the temperature rise, so that, you know, the temperature, as the temperature is going up, it has pretty much been paralleling the growth in the economics. The two of them have been rising together for quite a long time now, which has been one of the real signs that the economy is really the driving factor here. So there has been an effort by the renewable energy and conservation efforts to see some change, so that the rise in temperatures is not, the growth level is leveling out and is not going up. Okay, that's not working yet. But there is recognition that needs to happen, and measures are being taken to decouple those two factors. But there's all these other uncertainties about this, because, you know, energy efficiency, that's one of the methods for decoupling. But at the same time, there's also some evidence showing up that as you get more energy efficiency in, you know, your appliances and your automobiles and all these different factors, there's a tendency for people to consume more. And consumption is not a helpful way to decouple. I mean, if we're trying to decouple in some ways and getting worse in others, we're not. That rise is still going to keep going on. So his points here are that he wants people to build from the bottom up. The same point he was making in that chapter. Create economic institutions that are not based on profit and growth. And this is a really big factor. And in fact, I've been told that the business model of the future could very well be a non-profit business model, because non-profit businesses, and there more and more people are setting up non-profit businesses that are triple bottom line, so that they have people, planet, and profit are the triple bottom line, but the planet and people part of that is really the nonprofit mission part. So this business sets up with a people and planet mission that they are every bit as much constrained to meet as their profit constraints. That is, right now, most businesses, all businesses that are not set up on this nonprofit model, really are set up to, their primary goal is to make profit for their stakeholders and their owners. And if they don't do that, they are not doing their jobs, and the business it can be taken away from them. You know, they can't hold on to the business, they can't sustain their model unless they're making profit. So this new nonprofit model really is looking at how do you really enforce that. Oh, and the other part of that is that when people have tried to do a triple bottom line under the current standards, they're really working against that whole, the mandate to make profit. And they have to make profit, and if they try to work within the constraints of what's good for people and what's good for the planet, it really puts them at such an economic disadvantage that they've frequently gone under. It's really been a really problematic.
That is some outrageous reality. Many of large corporations nowadays include in their mission statements or vision statements exactly that aspect, that they exist for the profit of their stakeholders, and some of the ridiculous things that happen even along these lines, just very few weeks ago, I read this news regarding American Airlines increasing the minimum wage they were paying to their employees, and their stock prices plummeted by 10% just the very next day, just because they did that. It's just things that don't make sense in the context that we are discussing.
Yeah, it's so true.
When you say American Airlines, I fly a lot, and it's always American. And what I've been noticing is that they're putting more and more people into less and less space and having fewer flights. And I always was thinking of it as to increase their money-making ability. But it occurs to me that they actually are having fewer flights, and that's better for the planet. There's often so much good that comes out of something that looks bad. Like, I don't like being stuffed like a sardine. And I am stuffed in like a sardine, but it occurs to me that good that came from it.
Yeah. So the idea of new business models that can accommodate the needs of the planet and the people. That this is one potentially hopeful sign that he's saying these are things that a pluralist commonwealth would enable. So this is another suggestion that he makes. Subtract economic institutions from direct involvement in political process. That's a great idea. Substitute. No Citizens United.
Yeah, in one word.
Yeah. Take economic institutions can't participate in the political process.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, it seems kind of unrealistic.
My favorite. That'd be useful.
But 20 years ago it wasn't.
Yeah. Okay, here's some more. Substitute institutions at the local and national level with interest in conservation and clean energy. You know, this would be going back to some of the agencies that we've had in the past that have been disabled. Emphasize a range of strategies for dealing with the problems instead of, and this is like, you know, having different business models that address different kinds of issues, and thinking in terms of all these little individual communities where, you know, currently it has seemed like it's a good idea for a big government agency to set the agenda and tell everybody what to do. That if it's done rightly, to have the communities testing new things out on the ground and making suggestions to the state agencies, that you might get a whole lot more ideas here. And this is something that has to be balanced, because there can also be these other impacts, like in our civil rights history, there has been the issue that the local communities were behaving in extremely racist fashions, where the federal government was forced to step in and insist that they follow civil rights law and respect the rights of people in communities. But on the other hand, if we say that it's only a top-down decision-making structure, we are missing all kinds of these voices in small communities that are trying things out or have all kinds of different ideas. And one of the things that has become real clear from the whole climate change issue is that when you only look at this from the perspective of the good of a few people, you're only going to benefit a few people. And to listen to the broad constituency really does mean that there's so many more opportunities to be able to benefit the broad constituency. Here's a promising development. Distributed energy production. This grounds energy production in institutions that distribute ownership broadly, so it's more accessible to public complaints. And you know, nobody wants to listen to the public's complaints, but the public's complaints are a really important part of that. And this whole distributed energy thing, it's a whole different thing. When your energy comes from a major corporation that's coming in from all over the country, and you call somebody up at the office and say, I have a problem with this, and they say, okay, I'll pass you to the next dozen people, and you never get your problem resolved. It's so much different than if your next door neighbor is the one who has your energy system going, and you go over and say, hey, turn that thing on! And he can give you instant feedback. You know, it's just a distributed energy system really gives you much more, a much wider set of options than we can have.
Okay, I'm sorry, what exactly do you mean by distributed energy system?
Well, that's like instead of all the power coming in through a few huge power plants or a few huge energy companies, that they're broken up, because it's possible to do now with solar energy and renewable energies. You can do a neighborhood level energy system, or you could do a citywide regional energy system, or a watershed regional system.
And Margaret, that actually exists all over the United States municipal electrical companies. So that would be a diversified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one of the
right.
things that reminds me are some pretty big companies and governments that are planning, I don't know if they'll ever do it or not, but they're planning on orbiting big solar distribution and power supplies that everybody on Earth supposedly can use, but that may be unrealistic.
Well, that would be
I'm looking at
that
it.
would be under the term distributed, would it?
Well, probably not, because it'd be,
It's big.
yeah, that'd be
I mean, for big and
pretty
small,
limited.
trying different ways, but it depends on who owns it.
Yeah.
Is ownership the key?
Yeah, and that's the thing is,
Would be
you know,
public
we're not
owned?
being limited to only humongous companies. And so there probably is reasons why some, and this is another point that he makes, is that you have to acknowledge that you can't solve all problems on a neighborhood level. So if you're thinking of what is, and there's a term that we use for this, I can't remember it. But anyway, the principle of it is that whatever is the lowest and most grassroots level way to solve a problem, solve it that way. Because if you want vegetables, you can buy your neighbor's vegetables. If you want eggs, you can buy your neighbor's eggs. That's a problem you can solve. Food, you can solve on a neighborhood level.
It seems a reasonable principle, doesn't it?
Yeah, right. However, if you want a computer network, everybody having their own computer network is not really that much use. So, you need it on a bigger scale, and there needs to be some way that you can connect on a global scale to everybody you need to connect with on an internet system.
And that principle doesn't exclude the fact that we had to have big government to solve the Dust Bowl.
No, it does not. It does not interfere with that at all. So, but keeping that principle in mind so that people are not locked into the government has to solve that, the corporation has to solve that, and that's the only way to solve the problem. Recognizing what is the proper place for this problem to be solved. And I think we need to kind of wrap up. I think, this is.
I really appreciate it. It seems to me that he has all the value that I have in my lifetime grown to appreciate. And
I hope everybody will read this, because I think so.
There are millions of people in our country who like this summary of hope.
Right.
And it's right now wishful thinking. It's our wishes. It's what we want.
Yeah. We need to get away from the doomsday prophecies where we know climate change is going to knock our socks off, and continue to do the positive things we can, like this. As Margaret Mead said, whatever it was, one person doing the right thing. Continue on.
Yeah, and the real reason that I wanted to talk about this now is because I really want to encourage people to take a look at this book. It's so accessible, so look at it and study it over as much as you want.
And we may still get the book in.
And we may still get the book.
I'm looking forward to that.
Right. It'll probably be a document, not necessarily a book.
Listen, I promise.
Have you read it yet?
I'm reading it, and I much recommend it, but it's not significantly different from
That's
our
what I
book.
thought. That's
No, this is a continuous, her same
Right.
feces and her arguments, but she's much angrier now.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have an extra copy I brought here to loan anyone who would like to have it. Shall I, do you want to take it, or shall I take it back home? It's okay.
I'll read it on the.
If nobody else is gonna take it, I would take it.
Yeah.
I'm almost finished with one that I've already, so.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for having me.
I actually prefer to read mine on the internet because I can copy it.
Okay, well, let's.
Is there a phone number on that website? Thinking of what you mentioned,
When
that
I do that,
you have emailed them several times to withdraw.
Write down your email address and I'll send you the link to it.
Oh, I have
I
to
don't even
Oh,
have to type it.
You see,
I don't know
Okay.
when to send them out.
There it is, there's a
No,
phone number
there's
on
a
my.
No, Joe, it's easier than.
See that?
well, since I believe you were coordinating or trying to get some of those copies.
Well, I'm old too.
If that could be an alternative, given that they have not replied to your.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody, and thank you for this.
So there is something I can.
Thank you, Bob, for doing this. See you later.
Do I have to go?
It's a little bit truncated for, book for on this one. Well, no, we're not ready, no.
What I want to talk about is, I don't know if I can do the office one, because I'm developing this course for the interpreters. And the one I want to do though is on the Koch brothers and all their saying, it's called Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And it's one I mentioned already to the end, if I had.
Let's talk a little about it.
Okay, sure.
Thank you so much, I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, yeah, we have before.
Same to you. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your wind generation. Or wind energy.
When it happens, yes. I would like to get it done before that November or October date, in case the wind generator can come in.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
When was the apocalypse now?
It's a pretty recent one,
I don't remember.
I think.
I just wonder if it was before or after the dark money.
Oh.
Dark money knows about the Koch brothers.
This Horseman of the Apocalypse is a 2017. It's a fairly new one by a guy named Dick Russell. And it is
Oh,
about,
it's a 2017
I'm
one?
pretty sure it's,
Okay.
can you get online and look for,
I can look it up.
well, I'm kind of curious too, because I only wanted to recommend most recent things. I wasn't interested in going back to 2012 or 2010 or whatever. And so,
That goes out.
okay, is it,
27, April 2017.
okay, let's see. Yeah, I think that's fine. This article is by Justin McCool, but let's see if this is Dick Russell. I think that's the name of the fellow. Yeah, it is Dick Russell. Yeah, that's the book. That's the one that I'm interested in. And see, look at the names that come up. Pretty much it's his cabinet. You know? And it's in my mind, I want to know more about the Koch brothers. And I probably won't look them up unless I have to read this book. And I'd like to know who and what we're up against. What do you think?
You might want to have a look at dark money because it reveals a lot. I think it was that 2016 or 2015?
I'll look that up too. Thanks.
I mean, I think you did it in 2016, so that was 2013.
Did you do that one?
I did, yeah, in fact, we actually did it.
Twice.
3 or 4.
Yeah, right, yeah.
We did it twice at Omni because Gladys forgot that I did it.
We had a
I wonder if I wasn't here. I
response.
wonder if I wasn't here. I don't remember it right now.
No, I don't know if we forgot it or not, but we did do it twice.
Yeah.
So maybe that we really don't not need things about these guys that are so bad.
Well,
I don't know, but it was very revealing book,
it
and
was.
it makes you wonder, gosh, the Koch brothers are a problem.
Yeah.
They control a lot of stuff.
You know, they're the ones who are visible, but are there others behind that?
Oh, yeah,
You know?
that's-
Well, one of the problems is, you reminded me of one of the problems because the phony nonprofits is one of the problems.
All right, yeah,
So you have to make sure
that's right.
that the people are actually doing what they say they're doing. You can't tell by the title of the nonprofit.
Yeah. But you were saying you don't want to do it in August.
Well, I'm just not sure I can prioritize that when I'm talking in this class.
Do you
And I would
want
like to do. I'm gone.
You're going
I'm
sometime
gone September and October.
So that's,
I would be able to do it then. I would like to be able to do it in August. It's just that I'm afraid this course is going to be an ongoing developmental thing. And if that's the case, I'm not. I have this 2-week period of time right now before I go back on tour next Saturday to see how much of this course I can develop. And I've got, out of 17 or 18 topics, I have maybe 4 that I've been able to do this past week since I got home.
You're still recording.
By Monday.
Screen. 1 minute.